And I started touching his hands,
No
his
way.
legs, talking to him. All this time I'm not even crying. I'm confirming he's the one, trying to wipe his face. And I'm there. I think I took almost 30 minutes with him, and then I was like, I'm done.
Wow.
All this time I'm not crying. I think I
So
was
this time
in
were
denial.
you with someone?
I was
or
alone.
You're alone in the cold room.
Yes. Do you want to
In
understand?
between, yes, we have a stammerer here, and now we have Anne who's talking too fast.
Yeah. Okay.
You have to be very keen to listen and comprehend. Yeah, you know, to like be on the same pace with Anne. Tell me, what was in between here, the stammering child, and now the Anne that we have today, who is expressing herself so well. Hello, welcome back viewers. Thank you so much for being here today. I am super excited to be here. My name is Sylvia Kiremi, and today we are talking about pain and grief, and I'll be having Anne with me taking us through pain and grief. Anne will be talking about this from a point of experience, research, and she is a champion of healing and change. But before I give you that opportunity, I would like to appreciate the Norcross Hotel for giving us this opportunity to do our shoot. Thank you so much. We appreciate them. For anyone who loves serenity, ambience, good food, this is the place to be. The Norcross Hotel, we really appreciate you for this opportunity. So, Anne, I'm going to welcome you, but I've already introduced you, but kindly just tell the viewers who you are, what is it that you do, and who is Anne?
Okay, thank you so much for this opportunity. I am so excited to be here. My name is Anne Doris. I am a teacher. I teach history and theory, but I am very, very ambitious about researching on pain, helping people heal and navigate through pain, and anything to do with mental wellness, and as well a lover of Jesus Christ. And so I'm so excited to speak about this, and I'm hoping that we're going to have a really good show.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Now you have talked about champion of change, research. What is it that led you to doing this? Because I've been going through your socials. You write a lot about pain and grief, and you're so passionate about your write-ups. Yeah, when you read, when I go through them, I feel like I connect, you know, I feel like I am getting a one-on-one story from you, and then I thought, why not have it here? Okay. So why are you so passionate about it? Is it something you have experienced before? Why?
I am glad to learn that you go through them.
I do.
It's an honor. It's an honor.
I love the way you write, actually.
Thank you. Thank you. So I love writing about pain because of my past experiences. I've had a series of experiences on pain, and I felt like maybe I have to come out and be a champion of this. But again, I feel bad when I see my generation, you know, going through pain, resulting to suicide, resulting to family breakups, and they feel like we have a lot of impact in my generation out of pain, and I feel like if I speak up, maybe I'm going to help one or two souls, you know, not go that path, and that is why I'm so passionate about it. My wish is that I am able to transform people and to help them understand that all is not gone. There is a lot of hope out here. Yeah.
So when you started writing these stories, is it while you were going through pain, or is it after you healed? How did you start writing? When? Is it before or after, or when going through?
Okay, so my write-up journey started in campus. I have been an introverted person for the longest period of my life. And so I thought what it could be that I can engage in during my alone times. And so I started reading books, and fortunately most of them were about pain and personal growth. And so from them, I was able to now put my thoughts in writing. So that is what drew me into writing. And then again, still personal experiences, as I said, because you find for introverts, it's hard for anyone to open to other people. So they find a lot of peace in writing their experiences down. So my solution to pain was journaling. You know, when you put your thoughts into writing, what you feel, what your experiences are, what your emotions are, what your fears are, what your flaws are. So I found my way out through journaling, and that is why I found like if I can write in a book, you know, in a notebook, then still I can do it via social media and maybe help someone out here. Yeah.
And you feel that it helped you in healing?
Yeah, it has really helped me because as I've said, I've gone through some series of pain, and truly, I can, it's like therapy, you know, when you speak out, or maybe when you're able to identify with someone else who has gone through whatever you've been going through, you feel like you can hold on to hope because all is not lost.
Yeah.
So I believed if it helped me
It can
personally,
help someone else.
can, yeah.
Ah, okay. So
Yeah.
there's this thing you're talking about personal experiences, yeah? I would like to know probably the types of pain or the type of pain that you are going through, but before we go there, I don't know if you mind telling us what it is that you are going through so we can relate to the kind of question I have for you, or what I would like you to tell our viewers. What are the types of pain that are there and how do we heal? Now, before then, what was the pain that you were going through?
Okay, so I'll just give one example that I've been able to heal through. In 2018, I lost my grandfather. He was so dear to me.
Yeah.
And during the whole of 2018, now from July 2019 up to I think last year, I was grieving. And that is, I think that was my major trigger as to why I loved writing about pain, because this is what happened. My grandfather died at the age of 84 years, and he believed in me so much. So the reasons why I think the grief affected me so much is because he was so dear to me, so close to me.
Yeah.
As a kid, I used to stammer, so nobody else believed in me. I think they were feeling like maybe I am not supposed to be that way, or maybe it's a disgrace to the family. It's only my grandfather who accepted me the way I was. So by accepting my stammering nature and by telling me that I can be able to overcome it, I think we bonded so much. And then again, as a kid, I wasn't a very good performer in school. And so he so much believed in me, even when I could not see the potential.
Wow.
You know, he believed that I could still do it. And let me tell you, I saw it working, because in lower primary, I was doing poorly. But when he started speaking positivity into me, I started doing so well. And
It
so
got into
still
you.
we bonded. Again, my grandfather used to gift me watches. And up to date, I love watches.
Wow.
Because during any special occasion, maybe like during my birthdays, he could give me a watch. And so again, that strengthened our bond. And then we could communicate with him through letters. You know, like when I was in primary majorly, I'd write letters to him. So I'd send a friend of mine who maybe stayed close to him.
Wow.
You know, their homestead was just neighboring my grandfather's place. So I could send the letter and then he would send back, blah, blah, blah. We could not communicate via phones, though my mom had one and he also had one. So we felt like that was our way of communicating, and that went a long way. You know, in high school again, he could meet me any day before going to school, before I reported back to school. He could pray for me, speak positively, remind me why I was going to school, give me some money, and same to campus. So when he finally passed on 2018, I felt like a part of me went with him. So in 2018, my mom gets a call in the morning, and my cousin is like, you know what? Grandpa is behaving unusually. You know, he, according to him, he could not really reason straight. It's like his brain was not straight. Yeah. So instead of, for example, putting sugar in tea, he could pour it down. Instead of putting tea in the cup, he could pour it down. So it's like something was really wrong with his brain. So I went to see him.
And then it was just sudden?
Yeah, it was just sudden. He was all good, all okay until that day, that morning. So I went to see him, and I could tell he's not okay. So what I did, we took him to the nearest dispensary, and the blood pressure was too high. It was too high. So we got a referral to Moranga level 5, where he was admitted. So we started a journey of coming to see him on a daily basis. I was his favorite grandchild. Wow. So every day I was supposed to come and see him, and that is what exactly I used to do. Until one day, I remember it was on a Thursday, we were a good number of family members. We had come to see him, and then he was all jovial, loud. He seemed to have recovered, although according to the doctors, the blood pressure was at the same level. It had not stabilized still, but he was all jovial. He could now recognize all of us, you know, and he was like, you know what, I think I've taken a lot of ugali and milk, and I feel like tomorrow, as you come, bring me some
something.
atoke, you know? And I was like, oh, this is so good. I mean, he's recovering. Even the body now feels like it needs some change. And then he was like, as you come, please carry my other clothes because I feel like I'll be discharged tomorrow. And so I thought he was speaking about discharged and all this. And we were so happy. So I went home. Then I came to the hospital the following day.
With matoke.
Yes, with matoke. I'm excited. But that morning, I was feeling anxious. You know, a lot of anxiety that I could not tell the source. So I was feeling sad, anxious, all this. So I come stop at Mukoyo. I don't know why I stopped at Mukoyo.
Yeah.
And I started crying. I couldn't tell why I'm crying. I just was crying uncontrollably.
Wow.
So I took a motorbike all the way. I'm crying up to Muranga level 5. Then I met
this time, no one has communicated to you?
Nothing. I didn't have any idea. So I meet my uncle there. And as we were going towards Ward 7, I could see his bed is empty. And then I'm like, he's not there. What is not happening? I think now I started connecting, you know, when you're anxious, unusually. So, and my uncle is like, no, you don't have to conclude things. I think we can just go and be told what is happening. So we go and confirm that his bed is empty, but his belongings are there. And we thought maybe he had gone to the washrooms. He'll be coming back. After waiting for like 5 minutes, he's not coming back. So we decided to ask the doctors what was happening. And they're like, no, he's been there. So just look for him in the other wards outside the hospital. Maybe he's just around. And after doing that, we couldn't find him. So my uncle like became angry and bold enough and was like, I think I am grown enough. You can just tell me what it is that has happened so that we don't waste a lot of time. And the doctors were like, you know what? We are sorry to report that he passed on last night.
Last night?
Yeah, imagine. And nobody had communicated.
Okay.
Imagine. So
why did they like just think you guys are delicate to receive that kind of news?
Maybe it's according to their training, I don't know, but they felt like not saying it immediately. You know, if you look for someone and you cannot trace them, maybe utajijazia wewe mwenyewe. So maybe they thought like it won't be so much of a shock.
I think it's a way of preparing people.
Yeah.
Probably.
So I think his demise did not hit me at the moment. Okay, I understood what they were saying, but I wasn't sad. I didn't even cry. I was like, you know what? I want to see his body.
You had cried enough.
During that time that I was coming to the hospital. So they are like, I'm like, I want to see the body. And so they're like, are you sure you're going to the morgue? And I have no problem. I'll just go and see the body. So we go to the morgue with my uncle. My uncle was fearful. He said, you know what? I cannot enter. So I was bold enough. I went. They had already prepared the body. The body was in ice. I think because, you know,
he had passed on the previous night.
So I went. His body was brought. You know, his body was watery because I think of the ice. And I started touching his hands, his legs, talking to him. All this time I'm not even crying. I'm confirming he's the one, trying to wipe his face. And I'm there. I think I took almost 30 minutes with him, and then I was like, I'm done.
Wow.
All this time I'm not crying. I think I was in denial.
You with someone?
I was alone.
You're alone in the cold room?
Yes, I am alone. So they just gave me the body. They told me, once you're done, just alert us outside. We'll be here with your uncle. So I finished, and I was like, you know what? I'm done.
But I think you were going through something. Your mind can't just be at resting.
Yeah. I think I was in denial.
Or you were in shock. I don't know how to explain.
I had not really processed what is happening. So I go outside, I find my uncle, and I'm like, you know what? I've confirmed he's the one. So immediately I called one of my...
So, how old were you then?
18?
I'm trying to figure out who is this girl now who's going to the cold room? Yeah.
I was 19. I was 18 years.
No way.
Yeah, I was 18. 18 years.
That's pretty young.
So I called one of his in-laws, and I'm like, you know what? This has happened, and we are leaving the hospital now. He just cried and hung up the call. So I go home, and my mom was his dad's favorite. So she had called me the whole day, but I was declining to pick her calls. And I think in her mind she was like, something is wrong.
Something is wrong.
So when she saw me at around, I think, 3 p.m., she just burst out. She was shouting, crying all over, and she was like, "No, you cannot do this. You cannot just die like that. I was not expecting you home at this time. Blah 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 blah." And she really cried. And I think at that moment, it dawned on me what had really happened. And let me tell you, I broke down. I broke down. I could not say anything. It is my cousin who prayed for me, and I felt like I had some peace now, but I broke down. It was really bad.
Okay.
But now the problem was not even on that day. The problem now was after the burial. After the burial, I tried to understand why the blood levels had really shot you know, because that was extremely, I think it was extremely high. So someone told me.
So this time your grandfather has been buried?
Yeah.
But you're still researching?
Yeah, I want
You're still
I want to
looking
know
for
why,
answers.
because you cannot just wake up one day and your pressure is high. Something was not adding up.
Yeah.
So the problem now came after I started asking those questions. And someone told me, I'm not mentioning any names, someone told me that grandpa's documents got lost. You know, like his title deeds, he had some good amount of money that got lost that morning. So the reason as to why all this happened is because someone decided to take away things that he valued so much. And now, after realizing who the person was, now I started my grieving journey.
Wow.
It was hard for me. I was feeling like if this person had not done this, maybe
Grandpa
he
would
couldn't
still
have
be
died.
there.
And still, I was blaming the doctors at Moranga level 5. I felt like they didn't do their best. You know, I was like, if they tried to do their best, maybe they could have saved his life, because why die? You know, he was all good yesterday. Yeah. So I started my grieving journey. Yeah.
Wow, I can imagine at that age now you're trying to look for answers. Who are you even
Imagine.
approaching?
I approached the
Who
family
is even
members.
listening to you? Wow, that is so brilliant and brave of you. But now you started writing.
Yeah, I started writing. I started writing because I felt like most of us are so bold in speaking about matters. You know, matters, politics, like whatever we saw yesterday with Gen Z. You know, they are bold enough here to speak about politics. We have religious leaders, people talking about their salvation. But really, no one is bold enough to speak about pain. And I was like, what if I start the change, you know? Because I feel like when we fail to speak about pain, it's like
It
a
eats
wound, a physical
us
wound,
up,
you know?
yeah?
If you have a major physical wound right now and it fails to get attended to, what will happen is it's going to get an infection. So from without, you'll be seeing like it has healed. But inside, it is having infections, you know, pus and all this. So if that wound is not attended, it may result to even being cancerous. That is the same. You know, when we look like we are burying our pain emotionally, we create some kind of a wall, and then after some time, this is what becomes a bomb. You know, you find that someone has committed suicide, maybe they have killed their loved ones, and it's not a planned murder. It's like boom, you cannot take anymore. You know, and I felt like if we champion this, if we became bold enough, maybe people could speak up and we could prevent some of these things from happening.
Wow.
Yeah.
So we had a discussion before now we came here, and you told me there are so many, there are different types of pain.
Yeah, sure.
And actually remind me again.
Okay.
Because our viewers get to understand the kinds of pain and how to get out of each kind of pain, because I feel like yours was a very deep kind of pain that it's not just physical. So kindly tell us the types of pain and how to heal from them.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we have 3 types of pain. So first we have physical pain. Physical pain is the kind of pain we experience if maybe you've been hit by something, or you've been cut, or you experience a burn, physical pain. Then we have physiological pain. For those who have suffered from diseases like arthritis or cancer, they know, you know, a kind of pain that is coming out of your health status not being okay.
Okay.
A physiological pain. Then finally, the major one now is psychological pain, which I've researched about and experienced personally. Psychological pain. So under psychological pain, we have 2 types of pain. We have anticipatory pain and we have grief.
Anticipatory and grief.
Yeah. So anticipatory is from the word anticipate. You know, you're looking forward, or you already know that something is coming that is not very positive. For example, maybe you're looking towards your retirement or transfer from one working station to another one, or maybe you're going through your divorce process and you know that divorce is finally coming, or such, you know, something that has not yet arrived, but you know it is coming and it is not positive, it is negative. So, or maybe maybe your boss has warned you, and anytime you see them coming, or maybe they have given you like 2 days, you resign from work, or they fire you, you know, such. So that is anticipatory kind of pain. And then now we have grief. Grief is the kind of pain that comes out of loss.
Yeah.
Maybe you have lost your loved one, you've lost your job, you've lost your child, such. Grief. It is the pain that we experience after a major loss.
Yeah.
And under grief, we have situational pain and we have consequential pain. By situational, we mean pain that comes not because you did anything. It is because, like, you know how COVID came? COVID came, nobody had prepared, and then businesses closed down.
It's just
you know,
founders and wares.
you know, no one had prepared for it. Okay, there's nothing that we did to deserve that pain. It is situational too.
Yes.
Out of situations, we go through pain. Consequential is out of our own choices. You know, you did something knowing that I am doing the wrong thing, and then
something
boom,
is coming.
consequences catch up with you. So consequential kind of pain. Yeah.
How did you heal from it?
I was going through grief. I was going through grief or loss, and how I healed through it. Maybe I'll request to go through the stages of grief to really understand what happens. Yeah, if you allow me. And
Take your time. Take your time.
So the types of the stages of grief. First, I would love to say that it is not necessarily important for them to follow each other. You know, like, you don't come from this to this for each person. It is different because we are all wired differently. But we're going to highlight 5 of them. Stage number 1, according to how I'm going to arrange them, is shock or denial, the stage of denial. You can see maybe someone has been told that someone passed away, like I did. I did not even cry. Why? Not because I was not emotional, not because I was not feeling pain, but at this moment I was in shock. I was in denial. I had not really processed and accepted that whatever had happened had happened. So that is denial. Then number 2, we have anger. You know, just become angry. And under anger, we have 3 persons that we may direct our anger towards. 1, you may be angry with yourself. For example, I said I was with my grandfather during the period he was in hospital. Maybe I might feel like I am angry towards myself because I feel like I never gave them my best during that time. Yeah, I could have done something. Maybe I could have spent more time with him.
Or even stayed there.
Yeah, or maybe if I were there by 6 a.m. in the morning, I could have changed the situation, you know?
Yes.
Yeah, so sometimes we become angry with ourselves. Or maybe imagine in a situation whereby someone committed suicide. You feel like, maybe I triggered them. I'm angry towards myself. I never did my level best. So that is anger towards ourselves. Then we can be angry towards the deceased, you know? You feel like, no. For example, maybe someone's committed suicide and you have kids to bring up. So you feel like, that was very insensitive of them. How do they think I'm going to navigate through this? Yeah. Why did they even not say they are going?
And now you're blaming someone who is gone.
Who is gone already, you know, because you're angry at this moment. Or you can be angry now towards the people you think are responsible. Like I said in my case, I said that I was feeling like the person who had the documents contributed to this death, you know, and I was angry with them for quite some time until I learned like some things just have to happen. You know, you cannot control someone. If their time to die has come, they have to go. So you may be angry towards the people you think are responsible. For example, the doctors. You know, maybe one day you went and they had not applied the medicine on this patient, and you feel like that is the same thing that was happening all along.
Yeah, or even he refused and they didn't force him.
Yeah. So at this moment you're angry. You feel like suing the hospital. You feel like suing your spouse in the case of divorce. You feel like a lot of things reacting differently. You're very angry. So that is the second stage. And then the third stage, you feel like there's something you can do. You start like negotiating, you know. Most of the times when we are bargaining, we want to make promises to God. You know, we become irrational.
Yeah.
So you're like, you know what, God, if you bring this person back, I'm going to serve you faithfully. You know what, God, if you bring my business back, I am going to get born again. You know, you make promises to God or to a higher being, hoping that things will become better. You become irrational.
Okay.
Yeah, you become irrational. You feel like, nah, you know what? Yeah. And at bargaining stage, still you feel like if something could have been done, still you could have saved the situation. For example, let's say it's your business that has closed down, and maybe before the business closing down, you had fired an employee. So you feel like if I retained them, maybe
this, yeah, they have gone with the luck.
Yeah, so there's a lot of blame games in the bargaining stage. Then another stage is depression, and this is a serious one because when someone is depressed, they feel like all hope is lost. They feel like there is no meaning to life. You know, they feel like they are all alone. Nobody else is understanding what they are going through. And maybe at this stage we can ask ourselves, what are some signs of depression? So how you can know you're depressed is if you have the following signs. For example, maybe you're all loud and extroverted, and after some time you realize you're reserved now. You know, you don't love interacting with people, you love your own space. You know, you become reserved. Or maybe you've been introverted all through, and all of a sudden you become all loud and all this. Or maybe disorganization, loss of appetite, or maybe you start overfeeding still, lack of sleep, or you start oversleeping, such. Depression is so deep because at this stage, if it's not taken care of, we may make permanent changes in our lives in the negative way. For example, when people are depressed, that is when they commit suicide, that is when they commit murder, that is when they resign from their jobs without even thinking through what they're going to do after that, you know, depression. And I'll advise, if you see any of these signs in your life and maybe you know that you've been going through something, I'll advise that you seek therapy. Therapy is professional help from psychologists who really understand how they are going to handle you instead of allowing it to consume you slowly, and then we bury you. So we have depression, and finally we have acceptance. Acceptance now is the stage whereby you come into terms with reality. You know, like for example, if you lost your spouse, you come into terms with the reality that they have gone, and nothing that I can do can bring them back. You know, if it's your work, you accept now that it is gone and it's time I moved on, you know. And during that time of acceptance, we start appreciating the memories that we had with these people. Like for example, I healed in 2022 partially, and then 2023 fully. You know, I appreciated the fact that he created time for me. He made me become bold in voicing out. He made me achieve what I have right now. He made me become better academically. You know, he could gift me watches. He molded my whole personality. He made me believe in myself. You know, now appreciating the memories.
So you started appreciating.
Yeah, you don't look at the situation from what you lost, but now you appreciate that at least I had this person. I spent the better part of my life with them. So acceptance, that is how you know that I'm finally healing.
Do you just find yourself in the state of acceptance, or is it a decision that you make that, you know what, I've been through this, now let me just accept that our old man is gone?
So I can say that there is no specified time for mourning, there is no specific duration. Honestly, I feel all of us handle different issues differently, and it's well if we allow these people to just be themselves. But we should be cautious at the same time, because if we grieve for more than 1 year the same way without making any progress, then it means something is wrong with us. So there's no specific duration, but I think mourning, it should not exceed 1 year when you're not improving in any way, when you're going from better to worse. And so maybe to help someone go through pain, navigate through pain without being harmed, and finally heal, I'd love us to go through some some stages or some activities that one should
yes,
engage in for them to heal. One, I talked about journaling. Journaling is writing down your experiences, your emotions, your thoughts as they are. You know, for example, did you lose your job? What did it feel like? You know, what have you been feeling of lately?
You write
Are you able to
down.
eat? Yeah. Are you able to think through? Do you feel like you're angry with your boss because they fired you? All this. Write down everything that you feel. You know, a book, I think, is a safe space because, you know, it's not like sharing with a friend whereby your information can leak anytime. It's safe.
Yeah.
So you be genuine and honest with yourself as you can be. This is how I feel. This is how it has affected me. I feel like I'm not making any progress. Etc. etc. Write down your thoughts. That is journaling. Then secondly, we can do speaking up. You know, allowing yourself to be vulnerable. You cannot lack one person that you can trust and tell them, you know what, Sly, I've been going through this and I feel it's time. I explained my pain, you know. I lost my husband, maybe, blah, 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 blah. The journey has been this way and I feel like I'm not making any progress. Or maybe I feel like I'm making progress 1 week and then the other week
and
I am back.
Just down.
You know, you look for a trusted friend. Let them know what you're going through. You know, sometimes as human beings, what we're looking for is not an advice from someone. We're looking for someone who can listen to us.
A shoulder.
To be just someone who can hear us out, you know. And so it's important that we speak out, you know, we let people know how we feel. And then we have, after speaking up to someone, you can as well engage in physical activities because remember they say an idle mind is the devil's workshop. So anytime you're idle, your mind will be wandering, you know, and you may concentrate on your pain so much such that you're unable to move forward. So to help ourselves, we can engage in physical activities. Do you love swimming? Go swim.
Yes.
You know, do you love watching movies? Watch a movie. Clean up your house, do all these things, go for hikes, engage you.
Just engage your mind.
Engage your mind, engage your body physically still. It will help you. It will help you shed the weight. You know, sometimes the weight is too much and instead of concentrating on what is happening, it will help you concentrate now outside, you know, concentrate on nature and stuff. So that is really important. And then again, if it's grief, for example, maybe you're mourning your spouse or your kid, avoid taking major transitioning too soon. What am I talking about?
Yes.
Maybe you have lost your spouse and you were living in a particular location and you feel like, you know what, I want to move out of this house, go to another city, I want to relocate.
That's not safe.
It is not safe for you because, you know, when someone is mourning, when maybe you're just out of mourning, out of burial, you become irrational. You cannot think straight.
Yes.
So, for example, if it's a kid, maybe you had a child, they have died, and now you want to take the other sibling out of that school. You know, you've not come up with a strategy on how they'll be traveling to the other school and all this.
Or so maybe you end up burdening yourself.
Yeah. Or maybe you lost your business and you feel like I want to come up with another business instantly. You know, have you even come up with strategies? Or are you going to make the same mistakes that you made? You know, so it is good to just take a pause and avoid taking major transitionings too soon. Yeah, are you feeling like you're overburdened at work and you feel like resigning immediately? Take your time. You know, don't do that immediately after feeling that. Allow your mind to process your feelings. Yeah. So. And then again, talk to God. Talk to God. I don't know how many people believe that God really can give you peace, but let Him know that you feel disappointed in Him. Let Him know that you feel angry. Let Him know that you feel betrayed by Him. Express every of your emotion to Him. Let Him know that you're feeling like this journey is taking too much, like you are all alone, like you can never recover from this. Pour out your heart to God. You know, let Him understand how you feel. Because sometimes He seems to be very far away, but trust you me, He's there with us. You know, sometimes many may fail to understand this especially when the mourning process is intense. We may fail to understand this, but trust you me, the Lord is there with us. So let Him understand how you feel like, and then again, allow your feelings or your emotions to surface. You know, sometimes we try to bury or to hide our emotions. No. Do you feel like crying? Allow yourself to cry. You know,
Cry.
mourn over that business, mourn over that person. Do you feel like you're sad? Acknowledge that you are. Be present with your emotions. Don't try to numb them, you know. Don't try to hide them. Don't try to bury them. Just allow them to surface. Because when they have surfaced, you can now be able to deal with them. But once you bury them, it will be like the wound we talked about. And sometimes it will become infectious and it won't be good. So allow your emotions to just surface.
just come out,
Don't try to hide them.
Okay.
But be in control again. You don't have to go crying in public everywhere you go. But when you're alone and you feel like, I really need to cry, I really need to speak to someone, I really need to just rest, I am feeling sad, allow your emotions to surface.
Do you know, there are so many people who cannot speak about their pain and maybe anger. There are so many people who don't know how to express their issues. Really like feeling that you're a very, very brave person. And now you're talking about your grandpa so passionately. It's giving me some goosebumps, you know. And I feel that probably that is why you had to go all through that. Now, when you were going through that, did you have support?
As I said earlier, I've been introverted all through. So it's now that I'm becoming loud. I'm trying to be loud.
Did anyone understand you?
During that time, no. The friends that I had in campus felt like I'm taking too long, and so they never understood me. I could not share it with
especially
anyone
being
else.
it's your grandpa.
Yeah,
you
they
know,
were feeling
so many
like
people, especially today, so many people have lost the touch and that connection. People have disconnected with their grandparents. Most people are even disconnecting with their parents. You go to the city, you stay there for close to 2 years. You've never seen your mom, your dad. So you can imagine your grandpa. The distance is growing wider by the day, and I feel it is not a good thing. It is good to keep these people that we really love so close. Now you had to suffer because of the love.
They felt like I am overdoing it. And let me tell you, you don't know how serious it is when the people you trust, you feel like they are betraying you or they are not understanding you fully. I cut them off completely. Up to date, we are not as close as we used to be, because I was like, if you people cannot be with me during this period, I feel like we're not helping each other. And I feel like the pressure is too much out here. I have a friend of mine who lost their spouse, and the pressure is all out here. You know, when you've lost a spouse and people is like, when are you going to remarry?
When are you going to?
Or maybe you've lost your kid and people feel like, when are you going to get another kid? It's time you replaced them. You know, people are very insensitive out here. They feel like they can just say anything to anyone. And that what they fail to understand is, maybe I lost even my auntie, but the bond we had with that auntie surpasses the one that I have with my mom. You know, people fail to understand that. And so what I can advise people is allow people to mourn their own way. You know, just be present. If you can be there, be there. Stop giving them advices of when to remarry, when to get another kid. You know, it feels like it's so insensitive, because why rushing me? Why not understanding me? And you know, the period of mourning still, I think, depends on how deep the connection was with the person you've lost. So you don't expect someone who has lost their spouse to just get remarried within 1 year or 2 years. You know, allow them to just go through the pain, accept what has happened, and to move on during their own time.
These are things that people need to hear and understand and even read about, because most people are very misinformed. So you find that someone loses a spouse and they feel the only way to heal is just getting into another relationship, like to fill the gap. But you fail to understand that whatever you're feeling is not the same. You know, you're trying to like bury some concrete with sand, and at some point it will rain and it will just
And you know what happens when you want to make major transitionings too fast? I said you're not irrational. You are not. You make uninformed decisions. So you may find yourself rushing into a marriage, and then after 5 years you realize, no, this is not the person I want to spend my whole life with. So people decide now to go through the divorce process. Or maybe you get a kid, you've not healed, you hate this kid. You know, this innocent kid, you feel like you came in my life when I least expected, or maybe I thought you're going to solve my problems. Now here I am, still mourning. Or maybe you get married and still mourning the other partner.
Yeah, or you start punishing this kid because you're angered by something else, not this kid.
Yeah, now you project all your disappointments to them, you mistreat them. You know, that is the dangers of transitioning too fast. I feel like we should take our time. We should take our time.
Never thought of it that way, actually.
Yeah. Allow yourself to heal completely, where you're sure that now I want to get married. I am sure I have healed. I have allowed that person to rest in peace. I appreciate the memories, and I am sure they are not coming back. So I am past the pain now. I only have the memories to cherish. I can move on. You know, I had my child. I love the child, and I forgive whoever was responsible. But I feel like it's time I moved on. You know, not because I want this other kid help me heal. No, but because I've healed already, and now I feel like I want to move on with my life. Yeah.
So when such things happen, it's important to take time.
Yeah, take your time. Take your time. And then again, there are questions that people ask themselves. I've had people asking themselves, why me? You know, God, where is God when you're going through pain? And I don't want to sound insensitive, but I could say that God is where He is always. You know, where He's seated when He's blessing you, He's seated at the same place when you're going through pain. Because he understands it's important. We are human beings. And sometimes He wants us to build muscles. You know, He wants us to become strong. Other times He wants to maybe you've idolized this person, or maybe this business. He wants you to get in touch again with Him. Other times he may want to promote us. You know, they say for gold to become gold, it has to go through fire. So maybe He wants to give you a huge responsibility whereby you'll be dealing with pain many times, you know, many times. So He wants to prepare you. So I think what is best for us is not to question where He is, but to just trust that even when things are working against us, He's still there with us, you know. He still sees us. He's holding our hands. He cannot allow us to just sink. He's there with us.
Okay.
And then again, people ask, why me? And maybe I'll ask, why not you? You know, why someone else?
Yes.
Because if it's your time, tomorrow another person will be mourning. Another day you'll be celebrating. So instead of asking, why me? It's good we embraced the pain and just allowed ourselves to heal. Because, you know, if you concentrate on why me, maybe you've been brought up as an orphan, and maybe the person who has been supporting you dies, and now you ask, why me, Lord? You know, instead of that, just see the good that the Lord is preparing you. I have read the story of David in the Bible, and we see David being rejected by the father. He has gone through a lot of pain, because anytime I read that story, I ask myself, who is this loving father who will send his kid to, you know, a wilderness full of wolves, full of lions, because that is what David said. And he has gone through rejection from his father, a lot of pain. We see his brothers mocking him, another pain. Then Saul is out here running after his own life. And I was asking myself, if I were David, really, would I go through this, you know, peacefully, like just calmly, or I could have questioned the Lord, or even maybe surrendered. But finally, when he kills Goliath and becomes so big, he becomes the king of Israel, we realize, oh, so the Lord was preparing you all this time. Because I asked myself, we didn't see David going to any school, but he becomes a very good psalmist. He can sing, he can play the harp, you know, preparation. Through this pain in the wilderness, alone with the lions and the bear, the Lord is preparing him. And what I can say from this is, no pain goes to waste. You know, the Lord knows that we're going through pain. He is preparing us for things that are better. You know, things sometimes because He's transcendent, because He's beyond us, He hides them from us because He's God. But let me tell you, after 10 years, you may look back and say, Lord, I thank you, it happened.
I had to go
that.
That.
I thank you that I had to go through this. I thank you that it happened, because I could not be where I am today if that failed to happen. Now you can imagine a David who has never gone through pain, becoming king. No. He could be very arrogant, like we see the son of Solomon being. He could not handle the pressure. Even as a young boy, he couldn't be bold enough to face Goliath, you know. But because he had gone through series of pain, series of hard times, he could be able to do that. So I'll just to just allow, when pain comes, we just allow us to be molded to become better persons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
You know,
how did you even heal, like from stammering to the kind of expression that you have today? You're such a good presenter. You're such a good. You express yourself so nicely. You know, you're just so good to listen to. How did you move from this to that other person that we're seeing right now?
okay, thank you. First of all, I forgot to say, my mom has a brother who is not, who is physically challenged, and I think mentally too, because he cannot be able to comprehend a lot of things.
Yeah.
And so I think the reason as to why actually these comments were coming from my mom, I had not even realized I was stammering as a kid until she said it herself. And I think she had no hatred. She only feared that I could become like the brother, you know, that trauma that she had gone through as a kid, she had not gotten over it. And so I think she was projecting the same fear to me without any intentions of trying to hurt me or something. So I felt bad as a kid that I could not, and actually I said I am introverted. It's now that I'm trying to be loud. So I became reserved. I became reserved. I couldn't engage in any conversations until actually lately. Sometimes I could be called by someone, maybe I go, we sit down, I could not utter any word. At the same time, I love perfection so much that if I'm not sure I'll be perfect, then I'm not going to do it. You know, we could be with a group of my cousins and we are all, you know, chanting about our childhood stories and stuff, but they're all talking and I cannot contribute, you know. And all
Because
of them
you
were
don't want to
worried.
stammer.
Yeah, I don't want to stammer. It was so bad. So
It is,
healing through,
so much
healing
torture,
through, I think, yeah, it is a lot of torture, by the way. And maybe a shout out to parents out here. Even if your kid is struggling with anything else, you don't have to tell them. All you can do is be their support system. Because you may say it out of love and maybe out of wanting them to improve, but the impact that it may cost them,
it will injure their brain.
yeah, maybe for the rest of their lives. So when I started now trying to overcome stammering, I now again started talking too fast, you know, sometimes too fast.
Did you practice?
No.
Or what happened? That is what I want to know.
Oh, that is what you want to
between.
understand.
Yes, we have a stammerer here. And now we have Anne who is talking too fast.
Yeah, okay.
You have to be very keen to listen and comprehend, you know, to like be on the same pace with Anne. Tell me, what was in between here, the stammering child and now the Anne that we have today, who is expressing herself so well?
Okay, so after realizing that I speak too fast, I started doing some research on communication and I learned something, I think it's called poise, you know, and whereby you can moderate your speed.
Yeah.
So anytime that I feel like I'm speaking too fast, I try to lower my pace, though still sometimes it fails to work. So I started being intentional about learning communication and trying to practice that, by the way. In campus, I did a lot of videos alone in my house because now I was introverted, so I had a lot of time to myself. So I could record myself speaking and then listen to how I've done it. And let me say it gets better every day. Yeah. It has never been the same again. But at least I appreciate the part of speaking too fast instead of stammering, you know, because that is what was attacked. Up to now, I think my speaking fast has never been attacked until again by my mother. She was like, you know, sometimes you're too fast. Mtu asikiangi unasema nini, without intending to hurt me still. I was like, okay,
but
so what do you want me to do?
I like it. I
do?
like how you express yourself. I like, you know, I've seen you doing presentations somewhere. And I love how you do it. You know, you're so like well organized. You have your points so very organized. And I'm like, you're such a good public speaker.
Oh, thank
now
you.
I'm so amazed that you're telling me that you were once a stammerer.
Yeah, but let me tell you, it has taken a lot of time.
I think this should have been a story on its own.
Yeah, it should be. It has taken me a lot of time. It's been a real struggle, you know, because first of all, you know, what such comments do to anyone is they damage you. So first you have to recollect yourself, build your self-esteem again, and then now try to navigate through whatever the problem is. So first of all, my self-image or my self-esteem was damaged completely, and I had to now start building it, you know. and that is why I love heels. You know, I'd love to have my presentation done well.
You love looking good.
Yeah, I love looking good.
I love your style, baby.
Thank you. So I started by building my self-esteem. I didn't want to concentrate on the bad. I knew now if I was able to overcome that and love myself and hold myself in high regard, then other things would just come automatically. So after building my self-esteem, I now started recording videos, you know. I listened to someone. Actually, I love this character in Maria series. He's Brian Ogana. Brian Ogana has good diction in English, you know, like he speaks so well. So I'll follow his interviews, listen to him. If there's any new word, I go check the meaning.
The way he puts the punctuation.
Yeah,
words,
you know,
and
how he loves what he's doing, you know. There's another girl who's called Bright Star. She has good English. I tell you, she has Kasioka. Yeah, you also know her.
Yeah,
Wow. So I started following such people like Bright Star. I could listen to her, and then again I started following Muthoni Mukiri. You know, Muthoni Mukiri at a time transitioned from TV, which it speaks in vernacular, to now her own YouTube channel. And let me tell you, I realized some of her struggles now, trying to transition. You used to speaking Kikuyu, and now you have to speak English all the time. And I think I've watched her from that time until now, where she does it so well. And I was like, if she's doing this, then I can also do the same, you know?
Yeah, you can also grow out of what you were struggling with.
So they became my greatest source of motivation, and I started doing it. Then I said in campus, I used to read books. I could read books on communication, on friendship, and you know, self-growth, and psychological books like on mental wellness. No, I didn't. But now, after reading the book and completing the book, I'll record a video trying to do a review of the book.
Wow.
Yeah.
You were so determined.
I was so determined. I needed to heal. And then again, I started writing, as I said, because I had so much time to myself. So I felt like, this time I need to write up. So I started writing up motivational writings, even before I started now concentrating on pain. I could do write-ups, and then sometimes I was like, oh, this is amazing, I've done it, now why not speak it, you know? So anytime I did that, then I could read it loud to identify the mistakes that I had maybe done on the write-up, and now try to correct. And then gradually I was elected as, not even elected, I was chosen as the secretary of the Christian Union in campus. And so I had a lot of time, because every Friday and every Sunday service, I would make the announcements. And so now I had to speak something that people could hear, you know. So I had to practice before, then go make the announcement, then ask where I went wrong, then do the same. And I think in campus, truly, I became aware that I was speaking too fast. So I started to moderate my speed. And then again, during campus days, I was as well elected as the Vice Secretary, RSEC, and Mount Kenya Region, RSEC group.
Wow.
And during that time, we could go for meetings and, you know, speak with friends, speak in meetups, you know. And I couldn't afford just to not connect because I'm fearing, you know. So I started becoming loud slowly and trying to practice there until up to today. I think, and then being in classroom with students, you have to make them understand what you're saying.
Keep talking.
Yeah, you have to keep talking. Sometimes I find myself preaching.
It's practice on its own.
Yeah, people have to hear what I'm saying when I'm preaching. So it's been a lot of work.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing. Your story is just so beautiful.
Thank you.
I have learned a lot.
Work.
We have tackled close to 2 shows in one. You know, we're talking about stammering.
Kidogo.
Yeah, I'm like, I didn't know all this, you know. Thank you so much.
You're
we really,
welcome.
really appreciate the teachings. We have been inspired. We have really learned. Thank you so much, Anne, for your time. I think we'll be inviting you here again, because I feel we just have too much info, you know, so much goodness that is coming from you. We really appreciate your time. And I want to take this opportunity to also appreciate the Norcross Hotel for giving us this opportunity to do our shoots here. Thank you so much. It is such an amazing place, and we appreciate this opportunity. Also, I want to thank my camera person, Sammy Pitt Media. Thank you so much for the good job that you are doing. This show wouldn't have been without you. Thank you to our audience. See you next time, and thanks so much.